All right, guys, today we're going to be inspired by Chris Upheus. I want you to start in your sketchbook just playing around with some different compositions. A composition is just the way you lay out your paper. So play around with overlapping your hearts, making some hearts big, some hearts small. Try a variety of different faces. This is just practice. So if you don't like it, don't bother erasing. It's no big deal. You're going to work in Sharpie next, and this just gives you a little bit of practice so you feel like you've done it before. It can be a little scary to start straight away when you're using Sharpie. Once you have a good sense of how to make these hearts and some faces that you really like, you're going to switch to a new paper, and you're going to do, like I said, with a Sharpie. If you feel more comfortable doing it first in pencil, that's totally fine. But I'm going to start with my hearts. Some are big, some are small. They can overlap. And then I'm going to add the faces to each one. Variety is one of the elements of art, and it just makes your paper more interesting. So if you make the faces each a little different, they're going to share that basic shape of the heart, but it will just give each one something a little unique. When I make the faces, I like to leave a little white glare on the eyes. I think that looks nice, and you're welcome to do that if you like too. So you can see right there, I just left a little bit of space. And you can fill in something that you might want to be black in the end. The marker we're using right now is a permanent marker, and you're going to see in a little bit why this is important, because we're going to be layering a water-soluble marker on top. The water-soluble marker will act almost like a paint when I put water on top of it, whereas this marker, the Sharpie, is going to stay put just the way it is. So now I'm taking the warm colors, red, orange, and yellow, and I'm going to make a nice thick outline on each of my hearts. I'm going around the edges very carefully. It doesn't work if you just make a thin outline. It has to be kind of a fat outline, maybe the thickness of your pinky finger if you want to kind of measure, or as thick as the marker itself. So a nice fat line around the outside. When you're doing this, you want to make sure that you have a nice juicy marker. So if you have a marker and it feels like it's a little bit dry, switch it out for a better marker. It will flow better when we wind up painting on top of it if you have a nice juicy marker that doesn't let that white show through. That's better. That's a better marker there. A nice fat line. If I wanted to, I could put two outlines of colors in there, so I could put an orange one next to my red. My only warning with that is if you do it, make sure you use colors in rainbow order. So, for example, if I wanted to put a second ring on here, I would make it orange because orange follows red in the rainbow. This way, when the colors mix together, they will look good. If you mix colors that aren't near one another on the rainbow, they make kind of a muddy color, a brownish gray that's not really pretty. So if I wanted with the yellow, I would put orange next to it because orange and yellow are neighbors on the rainbow. I could have done green, but green is a cool color, and right now I'm only using warm colors. My last one here, and I think I'm going to use red. When I'm finished with this, I'm going to use water to turn this this marker into paint. It's pretty magical, and I love this about art, that you can experiment with materials and really change what they are. So now I'm just going to use a wet brush, nothing fancy. I'm just putting some water on a brush, And I'm starting on my outline and I'm pulling that ink into the center. What that does is it turns that color, the warm color marker I was using, into a liquid watercolor paint, and it spreads. You can see when I do this, I get a variety of values. So right next to that marker line, I'm getting a darker value. As I move to the center, my value is lighter. They are the same color, the same hue. You can see this is all yellow, but I'm gonna have a more vibrant yellow around the edges. That's another way to create variety, a variety of values, and it is something that makes your artwork look interesting and unique. For the background, I'm gonna switch to cool colors and I'm going to use watercolor paint. And all I'm gonna do is paint dots. I kinda want it to look like confetti around the outside of my hearts. So I'm just choosing a cool color, I dip into the paint, and now I'm just really carefully tapping down. Now, I want to make teeny tiny dots. If I tap lightly, I will get a teeny dot. Remember that your paintbrush is like a ballerina. Ballerinas dance on their tiptoes. You don't ever want to go to the booty scootin' ballet. Nobody wants to go to the booty scootin' ballet. It ain't pretty. So when you're painting, paint pretty. Paint on your tippy toes with your paintbrush. Nice, delicate dots as opposed to smacking that brush down on the paper. And I'm going to continue like this until I feel like my artwork looks complete. I could use just a couple cool colors, or I could use all the cool colors. The choice is really up to you, but you will notice that I'm using all the colors in different areas. So I get one color and kind of dot all over my paper, so it looks like it's balanced. And now I think we're getting somewhere. I have a really nice piece of artwork that has a lot of variety.